So, you're thinking about studying abroad. That's awesome. But you've probably run into these three little letters that cause a ton of stress. SAT. But what if I told you it's not this big, scary monster everyone makes it out to be? Today, we're going to break it all down. What is it? Why does it even matter? And crucially, how has it changed? Let's dive in.
All right, let's start with a little thought experiment. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself as an admissions officer at, say, a top university in Canada. You've got two applications on your desk, one from a super smart student in Lagos and another from an equally brilliant student in London. They went to completely different high schools, have totally different grading systems, different classes. How on earth are you supposed to compare them fairly? It's a real puzzle, right?
Well, you'd need some kind of common yardstick, wouldn't you? A single, standard way to measure them against each other, to see how they stack up academically, no matter where they're from. And that's the huge challenge universities face when they're looking for students all over the globe. And that, right there, is exactly what the SAT is for. It's designed to be that common yardstick, that one tool that helps level the playing field. So yeah, the whole idea behind standardized tests is to create that level playing field we were just talking about. Think about it. An A in one country might mean something totally different than an A in another. The SAT gives universities this one consistent piece of data to help them figure out if you're ready for their classes, no matter what your transcript looks like. Okay, now, if you've heard horror stories about the SAT from your parents or maybe an older brother or sister, you might want to forget everything they told you. Seriously, because this is not your parents' SAT. The test has changed in a massive way.
So let's get down to basics. What is the SAT? The full name is the Scholastic Assessment Test, and it's a pretty standard exam for anyone looking to get into an undergraduate university program. And here's the thing, even though it's technically an American test, its reach is totally global now. We're talking schools in Canada, Europe, all over the world. They all use it to check out students just like you.
So, I said it's changed, right? But how has it changed? Well, there are two really big, fundamental updates you absolutely have to know about. First off, get this. No more paper, no more pencils, no more filling in little bubbles. The SAT is now 100% digital. You'll still go to a test center, but you'll be taking the whole thing on a computer. And second, and honestly, this is the real game changer, the test is now adaptive. What does that mean? It means the test isn't just on a computer. The computer is actually reacting and adjusting to you and your answers in real time. Okay, adaptive. Sounds fancy, right? But it's actually a pretty cool concept. Here's a great way to think about it. It's like a teacher trying to place you in the right class. They'll start you with some simple questions. If you get them right, they'll give you something a little harder. If you stumble, they might ease it back a bit. The test is constantly doing this, adjusting the difficulty up and down to pinpoint your exact academic level. It's a way smarter and more efficient way to figure out what you know. And because of this cool adaptive tech, the test is way shorter than it used to be. The whole thing wraps up in just about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yep, that's it. All right, so what are you actually going to be doing for those 2 hours and 15 minutes? Well, the exam is split into two main sections. Each one is testing a different set of skills, but they're both super important. On one side, you've got reading and writing. This is all about how well you understand and work with language. On the other side, you've got math, which is really focused on your problem solving and logical thinking. Let's dig a little deeper into what's in each one. So for the reading and writing part, what are universities really trying to find out? Well, they're asking a few key things. Can you actually read and understand the kind of dense academic stuff you'll get in university? Can you look at a passage and pull out the main idea, the key evidence? And can you tell what makes for good, clear, logical writing? It's all about checking if you're ready for college-level work. Now for the math section. And this is important. This is not about memorizing a million different formulas. Forget that. It's all about real-world problems and scenarios that test how you think and solve problems. It's much more about logic than just crunching numbers. And maybe the best news of all, you can use a calculator on the entire section. Okay, so you've finished the test. Phew! Now comes the big part, the score. Let's break down what those numbers actually mean, and more importantly, how universities see them. So, the top of the mountain, the absolute perfect score you can get on the SAT is 1,600. And that 1,600 isn't just one big number. It's actually made up of the two sections we talked about.
Your reading and writing is scored from 200 to 800, and your math is also scored from 200 to 800. You just add those two together, and that gives you your total score, which will land somewhere between 400 and that perfect 1600. But what's actually a good score? Well, let's put it in perspective. If you're scoring somewhere in the 1200 to 1300 range, that's solid. That's going to get you into some really good universities. Once you start hitting the 1300s and especially the 1400s, you're looking really strong for some very competitive schools. And if you can break into that 1450, 1500 plus range, you are an absolutely top-tier candidate for the most elite schools on the planet.
Okay, so understanding what the test is, that's step one. But actually doing well on it, that takes a real strategy. So let's talk about how you can build your own game plan for success.
When it comes to the SAT, timing is just so important. Here's what we see works best. Take it for the first time in grade 11. Think of it as a practice run. No pressure. It just gives you a baseline score. Then you can use that experience to study up and aim for your absolute best score early in grade 12, leaving plenty of time before those university application deadlines start rolling in.
We can actually boil down your whole prep process into 4 pretty simple steps. First, validate. That just means check which of the universities you're interested in actually require or recommend the SAT. Step 2, schedule. Get a test date on the calendar that works with your deadlines. Step 3, prepare. This is the big one, dedicating real time to studying the test format and content. And finally, step 4, track. You've got to monitor how you're doing so you know where your weak spots are and where you need to improve. Now, you might have heard this term test optional floating around. And yeah, some schools are going that route, but please don't make the mistake of thinking the SAT doesn't matter anymore. A strong score is still a huge asset. It can make your application pop, it proves you're ready for tough classes, and it can literally open doors to scholarships and financial aid. It's a really powerful tool to have in your corner. So at the end of the day, remember this. The SAT isn't really a test of what you've memorized. It's a test of how you think, how you reason through a problem, how you analyze information. It's your chance to show universities what you're capable of. So the real question isn't about the test. It's about you. How are you going to prepare to show them what you can do?